Hey, this is Matthew Harvey here with the 12 o'clock siren, recording live at the 903 Broadband Studios at Cowboy Corner on the southeast side of the downtown Leonard Square. On my left hand is James Taco Bell Hayleigh.
1 minute after Taco Bell, 2 minutes after Taco Bell. Seen that video?
I think I know where you're going with that.
Never mind. I'm here, guys.
All right, howdy.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Glad it's. I feel a little. What's the word? A little euphoric seeing other people getting out of my house a little bit.
Yeah,
it's nice.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, we've got some neighbors, business neighbors, some actual neighbors of mine. The Knucklehead graphics folks, Daniel, David, and Hayleigh Metters. All Metters, right?
Yep.
Howdy, and welcome.
What's up?
Thank you. Good to be here.
How we doing?
Awesome.
Good.
Cool. So I've been business neighbors with you guys for the past year, and you guys are always going over there, always chugging along.
Oh, yeah. Live there.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely.
Sometimes at 2 a.m., sometimes at 9 a.m.
Yeah. 9 a.m.s are harder than 2 a.m.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the garage doors are always open. There's always something going on inside, or somebody parked outside, or coming in and out, or keeping it going.
Most of the time, it's panic is what's going on.
Has it slowed down any with all this going on?
Not yet, only because we haven't really had the trickle effect.
Yeah.
But it's coming.
Mhm.
We know that it's coming. We're just trying to finish up what we got and
Hope it still goes.
store some water or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this location here is your third location in town?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah, well, actually, so it would be technically the fourth because business started in an unfinished master bathroom.
Okay.
So here, just the gist, if you don't mind,
That's
kinda
interesting
walk you
story.
through
Go
it.
ahead.
Yeah. So I started my first actual graphic job. I worked for Sportstown, 20 years old, in Plano. And,
Sportstown.
It was like literally right behind the Love and War. The
Yeah,
current
that
Love
sounds
and War.
familiar.
Yeah. Now
Okay.
I think it's like a Halloween costume store or something.
Okay.
I don't know. So I got hired on over there just as a, I guess they called it a sales rep on the floor that did team sports. And they had a bike tech and they had a guy that strung tennis rackets and
Bowling ball hole drill.
yeah, dude drilled holes in the ball, the bowling ball. And these guys left. So they kind of were like, hey, you have consistently showed up to work for a week. So do you want this job? So I did. I took it, right?
Sure.
And at the time, I lived in Euless. So I was driving from Euless back to Plano, which is odd because I grew up out on Lake Lavon. So traffic and city life was, I was like the Clampids in that whole deal. But anyway, so they started trying to venture into the uniform side of the business with no clue on how to do it. And I didn't have one either.
Yeah.
Which will eventually get us to how we become Knucklehead.
Cool.
I'm guessing this was prior to the advent of the internet, like the.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you couldn't YouTube how to put
there
uniforms
was no
together.
chance of that. So so it was like they ordered a box of every letter in the alphabet and all 0 through 9 in numbers. They were stacked 200 deep.
Each number and letter?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was like massive, right? And then with us being kind of in the heart of Plano, that the adult softball groups were massive, right? And they sold these cool blank shirts right off the rack. And so these teams would come in and just buy. And then I would be back there placing each number and letter for weeks and weeks and weeks on a heat press machine. And I mean, it worked out because I, got it done. A lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
Sure.
So the wind would blow just about the time the press goes down.
That's the hard way.
Somebody's bees turned sideways.
Oh,
but it's like, sorry.
Yeah.
I just work here. But I
It's
mean,
my second week on the job. What do you want?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. After I do this, I got to build 5 bikes.
Right.
But so that was the start of, how the graphic stuff started for me. I've always been into art, music, is definitely a passion of mine. But just being creative in all aspects.
So how were you creative in an unfinished bathroom?
Yeah, well, I stuck
that's my
stickers
question.
all over the wall. Yeah,
He created a company in an unfinished bathroom.
I'm the 90% guy.
Yeah.
Like I could finish a project up to 90%.
That's about
and I'm
me,
like,
too.
Dude, that's perfect.
Yeah.
How long were you at the in the Plano location?
I was there until that business it shut down. So they filed Chapter 11, and I stayed until the end. And then Auschwitz bought it out during the liquidation process, and then I just transferred over and started working for Auschwitz and kind of did the same thing, except for they got it. You know, they came in with bigger,
They're like,
smarter people.
you've been doing this one letter at a time?
Yeah, they were
Here's
like,
a machine.
Yeah, and they realized real quickly that I was throwing more money away with my mistakes than they were paying me. So
You're like, don't tell Sports Town people that.
yeah, so they put the X on the uniform process, and then another company opened up. It was called Plano Sporting Goods, and they were massive. I mean, that's all they did was customs, you know, things like that, and it was huge. So then, you know, job to job, bouncing around, right? Me and Karen, we met each other right when I got out of high school. She had just gotten out of high school.
Karen's off mic here. She's taking some photos and enjoying the conversation.
Yeah. And so this will be our 25th anniversary this year.
Congratulations.
Married, right. So we were like literally right off the high school wagon and met at a club called Chances.
What year is this?
25 years ago.
Yeah. So that's 95, 96,
95,
97?
Yeah, so it's I don't know. What was the number? Oh, 93. I graduated in 93.
There you go.
Okay.
I was right off the wagon.
You were.
Yeah.
Right off
And you nailed it, too.
right off the booby. But so, you know, and then Auschwitz closed down.
Right.
You know, they filed, same thing, same process started, and then I just kind of bounced around, played music for a long time. I was a sort of the guy that doesn't read the instructions but takes everything apart. You know, this again will get us back to how we came up with the name. And but music was always my passion. We started a band.
What kind of band?
Like a folk, you know,
Okay.
Americana style.
Gotcha.
You have some tambourines?
Yeah,
Or bongos?
Washboard, yeah.
We got some
Yeah, we got
bongos?
bongos.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've actually advanced now. We actually have a stand-up bass, but we don't have a band.
Oh, cool.
Man,
We're too old now. We couldn't sell a single thing.
We got to go to bed early.
Yeah.
I feel like stand-up bass, I look at it and it doesn't have frets, and I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
And I'm
I
like,
don't either.
I'm just like,
I
Yeah.
just stare and mesmerized by somebody playing it, though.
It's a sweet
Oh,
piece
yeah.
of furniture.
yeah,
you
it
know,
is.
Yeah, it's cool.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, it's badass art.
Yeah. Yeah.
I automatically
It
want to
is.
like cuff my jeans and, you know, get like flame shirt,
Yeah.
rockabilly style, you know,
So
Quaff your hair?
quaff my hair.
Is
Yes.
that correct?
Can you say that on the radio?
Yeah, I know.
Did you
I know.
see how I
We're
approached
not
that very
censored here.
delicately? Quaff?
I saw it working its way through your head, though. Is the best part.
Sorry. So you're in Euless doing
Yeah.
all this, going to Plano.
Yep.
Y'all are married in what would you say?
95?
Okay,
96.
Is there a question mark on the end of
Yeah,
that?
I know.
And then how'd you get to Leonard? Did you come to Leonard with a graphics business, or did you all
No,
kind of start
so
here?
when I came to Leonard, I started an excavation business.
Oh, okay.
You know, because I truly am a knucklehead. I am a hammer.
That's why you had the backhoe the other day,
kinda
or the
guy.
Bobcat.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you give me a hammer, put a rock in front of me, say break it. I will break it without reading instructions.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I promise it's going to get broke. So and it worked out perfect for me because it's like working Play-Doh with a tractor, and I really dug it, like literally
Yeah.
dug it, and nailed a couple. My brother was a superintendent for a home building company out in Roy City, and he hooked me up with a pretty good deal, you know. And I did that for a while, and then the housing market
That was
crashed.
a hot market too.
Oh, back then.
Oh,
that's what
man.
it was.
Prior to 2008.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
didn't even have to have a last name, and they'd finance a
That was
house
like
for you.
Right.
Neck and neck with the Frisco area
Yeah.
for growing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then that's what really kind of caused it. I don't even think you turned in an application then. You just you just walked
Show
up and said, I
up.
want it.
Yeah.
They said, here's your
Sign
payment.
here.
And we were kind of getting back there right before this coronavirus. It was kind of starting to do the same thing.
Yep. And this may set it off too with this low, like, hey, just fill out this paperwork and we'll give you money.
I heard that they're floating the idea of 50-year mortgages to keep people in place.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't want anybody outside.
Right. But yeah, last time they were pretty quick to foreclose. This time they're going to be a little bit like, better get a little bit of money better than no money. You know,
It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's scary for small business, man.
Mm.
I mean, it's scary for mid-sized business.
Oh, yeah.
Because the trickle down, I don't think, like, I can't predict it. You know, I don't know what's going to happen. I just know that I try to do the best I can.
heard it on Rogan today. He said they were talking about the trickle down, and they said a lot of the businesses that aren't going to make it don't even know they're not going to make it yet. You know, we haven't felt that yet. So, hey, my company's $1 billion privately held company, and everybody's nervous.
It's day by day for everybody, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so I spend my nights now trying to come up with plan B, and I haven't yet, you know, and it's like days keep just going by. You know, it's like, boom, well, I was in a week, you still don't have plan B. So I don't know. I mean, I guess my plan B is I'll fall back on what I know, and that's, you know.
Breaking rocks with hammers.
Breaking rocks, I was going to say that.
Yeah, exactly.
Hard work and
just
determination.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's where it's going to be.
Yeah, I don't mind falling on my face, and that's how I got here. You know, I mean, I've spent my life. I mean, my life's been great.
Sure, yeah.
And the people around me are awesome, but I've never once been scared of failure.
Fell on your face and woke up in Leonard. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Where am I?
That was a life changer for me too, because I came from. I grew up. I graduated from community high school.
Okay.
And the name is perfect for the place because it's.
I think I ran a cross-country meet there one time.
That's what I was about to
Really?
say. Yeah.
Were you there?
I walked one.
Were we there? Me and Jim walked it for sure. Guaranteed.
Down a dirt road.
I have a feeling. It was around. Was it around a lake?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was around a lake.
I think that's the one me and Jim took off in a dead sprint for the first 30 seconds, so we could be first and second place for a little bit of the race.
And finished.
and like the other 100 kids are like, man, y'all are going to end up walking. And sure enough, we ended up walking.
Yeah. I don't think I ever ended up running.
I tried to look good at the beginning.
Yeah.
Community.
Coach Walker just shaking his head.
Oh, yeah. He was so disappointed in us.
Yeah, so out there, you know, with it being community, you got 5 different communities, or at the time it was 5. Well, so there was Copeville, Nevada, Lavon, Josephine. So 4 communities, you know, just on the outskirts of Farmersville. So you bled over into that a little bit. And there was never the small town vibe. It was everybody, you know, it was like just private property, you know, everything was just. We had plenty of places to meet and party, but then that was always, I can't, you know, the rivals, you know, kind of deal. So coming out here, that was my first time to ever experience a community that's together, you know. It doesn't happen there. It probably does now because it's huge.
Yeah, it's
it's 5A or
it's not the same
like that. Yeah. I mean, they got turf football field.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't understand that. You know, like Allen, they made that big $100 million stadium, and it's just like, that's high school football.
Yeah.
You know? Goodness.
It's important, man.
It's important.
They don't mess around.
No. Until they messed around and pouring that slab. Set it back about a year.
They did mess around doing that.
The stands are cracking. That is, it's insane.
So you got here at Leonard in 2000?
Yep.
2000.
2000. Is it 2000? 2005. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So excavation, doing that, the housing market crashed because they were just giving the houses away.
Oh.
And, you know, I had a comfortable spot because I had paid off my equipment, my tractor, truck, all that stuff. And it just gave me an opportunity to just sort of capitalize on, I wasn't in debt with my current business. And so I was like, you know what? Hey, let's swing the bat. Let's see what happens, because it's always been my passion. I love to create. I love to try to make people happy. You know, somebody comes to me with an idea, I want to make it 10 times better than what you gave it to me, because I want to see your face when you see it, you know? And so I went that direction. You know, I think we invested our first initial investment in our business was like just under $2,000 and no place to put it.
Right.
You know, so we got a plotter, pretty decent sized plotter.
That's a big decision too.
Yeah, a heat press, you know, computer, the software, all that stuff, and set it up. And I struggle working a cell phone. So there was a learning curve for me that was huge.
Sure.
I mean, I could run paintbrush on Windows, but when it comes to nodes and all those special things that I didn't know about, so it was a lot. And
it's
then,
intimidating.
Yeah.
That whole process is. I'm awful at it.
Yeah, I disappeared literally into that master bathroom. It had a toilet, so that was good. An operating toilet.
That's good.
And just sheetrock walls. And 6 months later, I walk out, and it looks like a gang had been in there with the stickers that were on the wall, right?
That's funny.
That's how I learned.
Cool.
Although I later found out that right there on the right-hand side of the software that I bought was a YouTube how-to. And I would have saved probably thousands of dollars in oops.
Like Oshman's all over again.
It was probably in that first warning when you install the software, and it's like,
watch this
hey, would you
video.
like to watch this video to learn how to do everything?
No.
It's a lot easier than what you're probably going to do.
That's where I come.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying earlier. I'm really fast the way I think and the way I want things done. And it's a curse. There's no doubt, because it's high blood pressure, frustration, but it's just, I am
First
my
lesson
father.
is, what is a vector file?
Yeah. Well, oh yeah, exactly. Because I didn't know then, and then later on trying to explain that to people.
Yeah.
They're like, "Well, I sent it to you."
It's probably the most the biggest disconnect between you and the customer, I would imagine, is the vector
absolutely.
file.
I need the vector file. And
Don't
I'll
you have
go,
the vector
"What?"
file? You guys are like, well, and they're like, well, I don't know what a
I
vector,
don't know what a
and you're
vector-
like, well, I kind of don't blame you.
Yeah.
Hell, I still don't know what a vector is.
Yeah, you got to have the vector file.
Yeah, so it works this way with the customer too. This is great. I'm glad you brought this up because, and I know
I've dealt with it a lot.
I'm not
That's
going to
why.
explain it good now for anybody that's listening, but so a vector file would be the original PDF. It would be a CDR, an Adobe Illustrator. It's something that mathematically you can grab the corner node and expand it to the size of the world, and it doesn't pixelate the edges.
Yeah,
It's
See,
the
that's
original.
Chinese.
yep.
And
You can make
I
a
don't know.
billboard out of it, and it wouldn't lose any
Yeah, it would
clarity.
still be the same
right?
color, same everything.
Yeah.
And so to tell that to a customer, they're like, "Well, what was the extension on that?" Where do you sending it from? They're like, "Well, I got this old computer."
Right.
Well, then send it to me in a PDF.
Yeah.
So what the customer will do, and it's not their fault because I get it. I've been there. But it's hard to explain this. The customer will take their JPEG, which is a raster image
Right.
that's not expandable in any way whatsoever.
Save it as a PDF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, export PDF and then send it to me. They're like, I sent you that. And now here's my problem. I don't want to go back to them because I know I'm going to make them mad.
Yeah.
And I want that customer.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Sure.
And so it's like,
What's
hey,
the
listen,
process then?
Here's the process.
This is
I recreate
valuable
it.
information.
yeah.
I
but-
have recreated thousands and thousands of logos because I don't want to have to ask them again.
So
Yeah.
to avoid that, what is the process for any of? I mean, like, how do I save something as a PDF if I have a JPEG? What do I
Is
do?
it just the
Right.
original?
Yeah, so if
Copy
it
or
was
something?
in a Adobe Illustrator,
Yeah.
or if wherever it was originally
Something that-
created from, that file extension is the vector image.
Gotcha.
And so most people don't have that, and they don't know they don't have it. They're like, okay, well, if I can convert it,
And that would be because it's such a big file.
yeah,
So they reduce it down to something that's going to be
Right.
compatible
It
with the
gets
website
compressed.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
yeah, and it's
Okay.
just so frustrating because the last thing I want to do is make my customer mad,
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
especially when I haven't even hooked them yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like I'll ask twice, and then I'm like, okay,
I'll just do it.
yeah, and I will set back and evaluate how long is this going to take, and I'm like 4 hours, I can get it done. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's gone into days, and the customer has no idea, but I need that customer, you know.
Yeah.
And then I've gone into days before, and then still had to go back and say, hey, what was the font name on that? Because I don't know I can't find that, or I can't recreate it.
Yeah.
Because it'll have some weird hooks in it and some crazy things, and it'll be a 70-letter word, and you're like, oh, there's a week.
Yeah. Drawing it all.
Y'all must like customers like me, though. I had y'all make a sign for me, a couple signs, and I was like, I don't know, just something like this. And there was a couple back and forth. So I was like, whatever y'all think.
Oh, I love that.
And it came out fine. It was great. Yeah, I'm not picky at all.
We also run into the ones that come in and say, well, this is what you do. You do it.
Yeah.
Right? And so we will trick it up and then send it back to them, and they'll say, well, that's not really what I was thinking. I have this drawing. And it's like, well, if you would have handed that to me at first,
yeah,
I would have started with that.
That would have been useful yesterday.
But it happens. It's the woes, right?
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what business you're in, I'm sure I was in retail, and just people coming up and asking questions about football helmets or something. And it's like, come on. I don't know.
I was in retail too. It was one of the best jobs I ever had. I worked for Dillard's, and I was the dot guy who walked around and picked up the hangers that people would put back. Yeah. And I was a teenager.
That's important.
And that's all I did.
Like in Sherman.
That's essential.
Yeah, it was. And all I did was talk to the pretty girls who worked there. And all I do is go and be like, you need your hangers picked up? And they're like, no. And I'd be like, all right, well, I'm going to hang out for a bit. And they'd be like, all right. Yeah, as a 18-year-old, it was great,
Yeah.
So 2000, when did that start? When did Knuckleheads start in that bathroom?
I think
2009, 10, something like that?
Yeah, 2000 and what did we say, Karen? 2011. Yeah,
Okay.
2011. And then I moved. So I was in the early learning stage, right? So I wouldn't even consider that business. Matter of fact, the first jersey that I ever printed in there, I put sticker material like that you would put on the wall. I've heat pressed that on a jersey. And I was like, that looks really good.
For 7 hours.
Yeah. And then I said, hey, let's test this material to Karen. Let's throw this thing in the washing machine. And because I remember the woes when I worked at Sportstown when things would wash off if you didn't give it enough time under the heat press. Let's throw this thing in the washing machine, wash it, and we'll dry it. Comes out of the washer, looks great. Comes out of the dryer, there is not a number, a name, there's nothing on it.
All off.
So I'm like, well, I look down in the bottom of the dryer, there's all the stickers. I still can't figure out what's going on. So I think that, and again, I'm the knucklehead, so I don't like to make that phone call to admit to the guy that offered the help when I bought the stuff. I was like, Karen, will you call up there and find out what number what's the number on the material I'm supposed to be using? She rattles off a number. I was looking down. I was like, oh, no, I used that. It's got to be bad material, right? Well, obviously, it was sticker material.
Yeah,
sure.
It was in a sample pack. When you bought this plotter, you got these samples. Well, I thought it was all the same. So that was my, I went through months of that, just trying to figure out the numbers on the material. And then we ran across a deal up here by B&B with Arbus Buchanan, had that office space up there, and the rent was cheap. I'd outgrown the...
Did we talk to him about that?
I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, I outran the master bathroom, or outgrew it. It was me, the toilet, and rolls of material. So...
You need an office, a proper office.
So I was like, man, this is perfect. It's 3 times the size of the master bathroom. So we go up there and we get started. And so sort of the philosophy, something that we adapted for our company was, and this is when it started, is that it's not our right to really kick or push the ball. It's more just follow it, right? Just see where it goes. Instead of trying to always hustle and push something on somebody, just sort of stand back and look and see what they need.
Sure.
And so that's how we got into embroidery. We went to a couple shows. We were looking at these machines. We did some studying on it, which was really expensive. It was a massive investment for us. I mean, the machine itself is $10,000. The software is $7,000. So my first investment on my first machine was $17,000. And this was just for fun, right? I was just thinking, we're just going to play around with this.
No.
At $17,000, things got serious. But we studied and looked, and we were outsourcing all of our embroidery work to other companies.
Yeah, you just do a simple return on investment there.
Yeah. Yeah. And once we put the numbers to it, we're like, this thing will pay for itself. And luckily, because of the community and the towns around us, it worked.
Cool.
Like that machine literally paid for itself in the first year. I have 5 of those machines now, and they stay busy. Some days I run those machines 13 hours a day.
My goodness.
And need to run them more, but man, I also want to go home, But
Back to that master bathroom that you finally finished.
Yeah, yeah, right. Yeah, that's the piece.
Funny how you rest in it now, huh?
Yeah, yeah. It's like I'll be out in a minute. Yeah. So, I mean, I have so many people to thank. I have such good customers. People are super loyal, even when it's been I'm falling on my face constantly. But the community's awesome, so that there's forgiveness.
Sure.
And man, I to be honest, knucklehead, right? I mean, I wing it as I go. I apologize for what I did wrong. I always stand behind it, try to make it right. That's all I can do, but I think it's the entrepreneur, right? Sure. I mean, that's what you have to do.
Well, I think the good thing about a small town too is there's some loyalty there. If you show respect, you get it back. I was talking to my kids go to jiu-jitsu at Sidewinder Jiu-Jitsu, and obviously they're not having it right now because of the pandemic, and he hasn't had anybody fall off the books. Like we're all still paying monthly, but we're not going. Yeah. But that's because he's a small business we're trying to support, right. And he's got 200 students and nobody stopped paying. That's because
that's pretty awesome. Yeah.
So. Well, I heard a lady on Shark Tank tell this story, and I really related to it. Starting a small business and not knowing what you're doing, as I did. She put her stuff out there, whatever product it was, and a big guy, big box store or whatever, distribution called her and said, "Hey, do you have a dropper sheet for blah blah blah?" Like a detailed list of pricing and all that sort of stuff. And she was like, hold on. And she's like, Googles what's a jobber sheet, and she's like, yeah, I've got one of those, I'll figure it out, I mean, if that's what I got to do.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Truth, right? So I've had customers before call me about something that they know more about than I do. And it's like literally I'm finding information or writing down what they said. I said, well, that sounds interesting. Yeah. What's the temperature on that wrap? What's the melting point? Well, I've never thought, why would I think of that?
Man, you're describing my life. I'm in tech sales and I am not technical. So all the time I'm basically just rephrasing questions as statements to my customer.
Confirmatory statements.
Yeah. I learned this on Masterclass. Yeah. But that's my life. It's just kind of faking it till I make it.
Yeah, I do too. I try to throw some jokes out there. I'm like, well, I would suggest you don't burn it, but hey, it's expensive. Don't burn it. Well, we've had a couple, weird things like Garney outside of town, the ones that are putting in the North Texas Municipal Water District deal. Like they called us up and said, hey, have you ever wrapped a crane? Yeah, 6 of them. Right? No, I've never wrapped a crane.
Yeah, we've wrapped cranes.
Yeah. So we did some measuring on it, and that was one of the technical calls where they were calling and asking questions. I was like, hey, man, I'm not right there at the computer right now. I swear I'll call you back. Yeah, and I'm in there like, what is that?
Out of curiosity for like advertising or practical use?
Yeah, wrapping the crane.
Oh, yeah, like as far as questions.
Why would they wrap a crane?
I guess they got tape, right? Because it's such a massive company. Garney's huge.
Oh, yeah.
So I think they have to cover their, cross their T's and dot their I's and all that stuff on their end so that they have the information.
Yeah, I think the guys that actually, when I went out there, it was just, there was 5 more.
Right.
And all 5 of them were prettier.
Gotcha.
And that was what they said.
Yeah, or competing. Yeah.
Protection and looks.
I want our crane, our names all over this place
to look good.
Yeah. I want ours to
sure.
Right.
And it should look good. Garney, if you're listening, we can make that thing look really good.
It will look good.
Yeah.
7 of them out there, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I can see them from my house.
I know.
I probably said that before.
That's a lot of money. Well, I think I went in the wrong business. Should have went in the crane
water
business.
Yeah.
Yeah, selling water.
No doubt. I don't know that excavation business that you were doing. It's I've got some property north of Bailey over there, and I was getting some people to come out and clean it up and stuff. Ooh, that might be the business to be in.
Well, hey, I still got my tractor with this coronavirus going on.
There you go. Who knows?
I need to pick up some money.
Yeah, a little side hustle there.
I'll cut you a deal.
Yeah.
I'll give you the price it was back then. Right. It is expensive now.
It is.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Like I hear these guys that buying these $70,000 tractors. I paid $32,000 for my tractor, and it was top notch at the time.
I know a guy that paid $30,000 for one of the mini John Deeres, the mini ones that are like a lawnmower with a cab.
Oh, see, yeah,
$30,000.
that's a $20,000 air conditioner.
That's exactly right. That is. Yeah.
I mean, because the tractor's worth 10 at tops.
Right. But Texas in August.
Oh yeah,
might be worth it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and see, my tractor doesn't have it. My tractor's open cab, motor sitting right underneath you.
Yeah.
And I've been out there, man, in August.
Toasty.
Yeah. And it's just miserable. The top of the cab is black, so I'm rattle canning it white.
Yeah.
You know, it looks like the Hooptyville out there, but that's okay, right? It reflected some UV and. It's miserable. And I'm so happy to get out of that.
A few years ago, I had the privilege to sit in a cabbed tractor in the Texas summer whose air conditioner had gone out. And Disca, it was only about 25 or 30 acres, so it didn't take too long. But I will tell you, I was ready to come out of that cab.
And drive around with the door open.
Yeah, pretty much. It was just
Done it.
hot, man.
So y'all were up at the B&B, then didn't you move to the square officially?
We did. We
after
moved
that?
so it'd be the southwest corner.
Which used to be the Leonard Graphic, right?
Yeah, the old graphic
Back in the
building.
day.
Yeah, and David Johnson.
Back in the Scoop Johnson days.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's the Siren Zone.
He is, yep.
He was on here for episode 4?
Maybe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
he was on
something like that. 6.
one of
maybe.
the early ones.
Yeah, he was a early interview.
Yeah, and we at the time we were just hustling for more space because we had bought that machine. We had put a numbering system screen press in that ran numbers for jerseys and stuff like that. We were trying to step it up. So at this time, also, Karen had worked for United Healthcare for 22 years, right? Oh, sorry, 22 years, and got laid off, right?
Oh.
So it was like family meeting. Hey, how seriously we're going to take this? Where do we want to go? What are we looking at 5 years from now, kind of deal? And financially, we were okay because we had paid off. When we got here, we'd bought our land and had put ourselves in a pretty good position because of some choices that we made when we were really young, and work just
Boy.
a lot of sweat.
We've done episodes on that too.
I have not made good choices when I was really young.
Well,
We're probably in the same boat.
Yeah.
I made 2 good choices. I bought a house for $13,000, and I decided that she's like my soulmate, and so
There
it
you
worked
go.
out because she's like the anchor, right? Because I'll tell you, I will go. Like I was just talking to my brother last night, matter of fact, and I said, in traffic, if I'm sitting in traffic and I see 1 mile, that's where I want to be. I can't sit there. I will go 20 miles that way
I like
just
to
to keep the wheels moving.
Yeah, me too. I'm that way.
Yeah.
And so she will tell me, "You're not turning. Don't do it. Don't do it."
Knucklehead
just
needs
stay
some guidance, is what you're saying.
Yeah. So, so we were scrambling for space, and Karen had found out some information. We didn't even know the Johnsons at the time.
Yeah.
And she talked to a couple people, and they were like, "Oh no, they have the electric company or whatever over here on the other side of the square." And so she stopped by there, and it wasn't for rent, but those are good people,
Yeah.
and they saw a need for it.
Sure.
That thing, it wasn't ready. And then they they went over there and put a brand new air conditioner, and I mean, from ground up, had to redo the electrical service, had to get an electrician to come out to rerun everything to get it up to code.
That's awesome.
Oh, it was so awesome because I was like, man, I was scared to death. I was like, I wonder if this is going on my rent,
Yeah.
Right.
because I didn't know. I was like, I don't want to tell him because I need it, but I may have to get this on a 30-year deal. So we got over there and we were like, wow, space for days. We had our one room that was empty, and then business kept coming, and so we were like, we got to expand. We need we need to start printing, media prints like banners, car wraps, signage, stuff like that.
Stickers.
Stickers, yeah. And
lots of stickers.
yeah.
Perf wrap.
Yeah. Oh man, we do a lot of that now. Thanks to Sonic is our
Oh, yeah.
hero on that deal.
Cool.
So we added one more embroidery machine. We expanded into the second room over there. And then we just, sat down at a meeting one day and said, okay, this has potential. And we all started, as a family, started believing in the system. And it was about, like, maybe the foundation's not right now. And we get it because it happened so fast for us. And it's still not. And we get that too. We spend every day trying to fix it and fine tune all those things because we don't want to stop. I don't want to stop. I'm going to take it as far as I can possibly take it, but I got to rewind back and fix some small things so that we got more steady concrete to stand on.
David, when did you join?
Yeah, right about
you
now.
Well, it was real close.
You said around the crash?
No. So once I'm in this building and I expanded and added the printer, I added a 48-inch high resolution printer. And he had just came back from Chicago.
Okay.
Chicago,
That's
huh?
right.
Oh yeah.
What were you doing up there?
Freezing. Simply put.
Yeah. It's a cool town though. I'm a fan of Chicago. I don't live there, but I like it.
That's why you're a fan.
Yeah.
Because you don't live there.
Yeah.
No, it's a beautiful place.
Sure.
I loved it. At times.
It is
Usually
a cold
about
winter.
August, 1 month.
Yeah.
That's when it was really nice.
Yeah.
When did we go up there?
July.
Yeah.
July
It was
9th.
nice.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah. It's good.
I did go one time at Thanksgiving. It was 74 degrees. It was perfect.
Wow.
Amazing.
Thanksgiving, huh?
For the whole time I was there, it was like the best weather ever.
Nice.
Drove home. He calls me 2 days later. He's like, dude, come back. Because it's like 4 foot of snow and
That's
60
not
mile
fun.
an hour winds.
Not fun.
Yeah.
Flat, windy.
27 below wind chill.
Yeah, see.
And I live right off of Lake Michigan. So that just lake effect snow.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, it's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bet.
I still don't know why the hell I went there to this day.
I went up to Alaska at the first of this year, and that was the first I'd ever really experienced true cold, like negative 28, negative 30. That was not fun. So I could see coming back, wanting to come back to Texas. But then you get July and August in Texas, and you're like, damn.
Yeah.
I'll trade the heat for the cold
Really?
any day.
Yes, sir.
Any day.
I don't know that I feel that way, to be honest. I mean, I might trade it for that kind of cold, but like Colorado cold.
Yeah.
Colorado summers.
You got
are
something
nice.
to look at, too.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, the mountains in Colorado call my name.
Yeah, it is beautiful.
Now, I moved back from Chicago July 4th, 2017, and I drove into Daniel's driveway around 7:45 that day. And it was one of the greatest moments of my life.
I come back.
Was coming home.
Yeah.
It was coming home back to my family,
Yeah.
Cool.
friends. It was it was awesome.
Yeah.
I can't even put into words what that moment felt like.
Yeah.
Fireworks going off. Everybody's having a good time. I was like, yep, this is where I was supposed
That's
to be.
it.
Good welcome back.
Yep.
Matthew, do you have a story like that coming home ever? You're like, oh man,
Oh, yeah. A lot of England stories.
really?
Yeah.
Coming back from
Going
England?
to, we've got a lot of family in England, so every year, growing up, we usually go over there for however long, a week, 2 weeks, sometimes 3. And you come back, it's always in the summertime when you're young, and you're in elementary school, whatever. You really want to be there during the summertime. But you want to go to England too, but you come back and like the heat.
Yeah.
I just remember the heat coming from the jet bridge around the plane where you're so used to cool temperatures in England, and then you get back here and it's like 110.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I mean, that's my thing.
I came back 2011. I was living in California, out there in the land of the hippies. But where I lived was amazing. It was Central California, Pismo Beach, and it was like 72 degrees all the time, But it was 2011, so when I got back, that was the year Texas burned. It was just hot, and I crossed was it 40 up there, I-40. I crossed the Texas state line. I got out. I kissed the Texas soil, and a thunderstorm had just come through, and it was like nice. You know, I was like, oh man, this isn't too bad. And then I strolled into the Metroplex that night and got out of my truck, and I was like, my God. It was like 111 or something. It was awful.
Yeah, and humid.
Yeah, humid. No.
Funny story, James also pulled off the road around Shreveport, Louisiana.
No,
What was it? Mississippi?
It was Louisiana. It was between Biloxi and New Orleans.
Okay.
On I-10. So yeah, I've been driving for a long time, and I just walked off into a swamp and yelled, screamed. It was like that.
Broke down.
It's like that cursing yoga, you know. It's like supposed to relieve anxiety. It did help. I was like ankle deep in swamp water.
You had a moment.
I had a moment.
Yeah.
Dude, I had driven to Florida, just spent a couple days, and then was driving back, and I just couldn't handle it anymore. I'd probably been smoking cigarettes and drinking Red Bulls, and just needed to get out of the
scream.
truck. Yeah, just had to scream.
So 2017, you're back in Texas. Is that right? Did I get that right?
Yeah.
And then do you guys immediately hook up and start working together?
No. When I went to Chicago, I was a retail salesman in-home salesman. Here in Dallas, I took a job up there. Was there like 6 years doing the same thing up there. Business phenomenal because there's so many people there. I mean, you got more fish, so you really have a hard time to fail. But I was just homesick. I was ready to come home. I've been gone too long, and so I didn't have that same exact opportunity when I came back. But I went to work for Pella Windows and Doors, which I'd already been selling their product for. Yeah, that's a plug. But I'd already been selling their product for years and years.
Okay.
And I came back, and I've always admired my brother for the business that he's done, be it the dirt business, and then with Knucklehead. I was like, I'm getting to a stage in my life where I don't necessarily want to have to do this same thing that I've been doing for so long anymore. I want to do something fun. I used to watch American Chopper and watch those guys and family interact.
Yep.
Sometimes good, most time awesome. But it's a business where you're being creative, if you will, and it's.
Hayleigh, I think they just want to make you work and then make fun of you the whole time. That's what they're getting at here.
Yeah.
Isn't that what happens on the show?
Right, yeah. Somebody's got to be that.
The kid
person.
works all the time. They just yell at him.
Yeah, scream, yell.
Yeah.
Good luck.
I'll leave that to Shy.
When y'all aren't here, that's what Matthew's doing to me.
Right. Yeah. I've heard it across the road. I don't know what's going on.
It echoes.
But, it was one of those deals where I just decided that I was tired of that rat race and chasing and chasing and chasing. I wanted to be a part of something that I felt good about, putting my name on it, be a part of it, and watch it grow and succeed.
Yeah.
And it was a no-brainer, probably the best decision I've ever made.
Cool.
Because,
awesome.
like Daniel was talking about earlier, I still don't know what a PDF is. I don't know what all that stuff is. He's the brains. Karen, Kyle,
which is scary.
Hayleigh, they're the brains. I try to act like I know.
Sure.
But
you run a lot of machines and installs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I do that side of it.
Yeah.
For the most part, I try to get involved with that other stuff, but hell, I just get in their way. So I just do what I do, and it's just there's so much satisfaction to it's simple like this. All right. Whoa, was that? Who was that?
That was me.
That was
I just took a
Well,
swig
I
of
was
beer.
wondering if y'all heard my stomach.
Pardon me.
I
I'm not sure.
totally thought it was
Everybody
me.
thought it was themselves. I should have said it was
Yeah.
y'all.
Yeah.
Excuse
Everybody
me.
be like, sorry. But it's as simple as this.
I'm not going to cut that.
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
It is just a T-shirt, right?
Right.
But I cannot tell you how satisfied I am to walk around, not just in this town, but I can be in other towns and see somebody wearing something that I had a part of.
Right.
Yeah.
on the production side, or a hat, or a car goes down the road and it's got some stickers, decals, or it's a full wrap.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It is the most satisfying thing, even if I struggled with it and spent hours and hours and hours trying to get it right.
Sure.
It's one of those deals where you step back and look at it, and yeah, it's just a T-shirt, but it's more than a T-shirt.
Yeah, that's awesome. Speaking of products and stuff, what did all of are you guys doing? You said embroidery, stickers, T-shirts, obviously. Wraps, car wraps. So you're doing full wraps?
Yeah, we do full wraps. We do color on color, so custom. You know, you
Okay.
could come in, pick a color, from a huge selection of colors.
Okay.
And for show cars. I don't-
Solid wrap. I
Yeah.
mean, down to what you guys have on your truck. That's pretty
yeah,
wild.
to utility fleets.
That must be a vector file you use to print that.
yeah,
That was
yeah.
a
Because there's a lot of
PDA,
detail and there's no-
GCD.
No degradation.
Yeah, I have in my early days, and struggling to figure out the difference between a raster and a vector.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to know what the difference is, run a raster image through one of those plotters,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll see it.
All right.
Because it takes it 45 minutes to go an inch, because it's trying to cut out every one of those little bitty squares.
On a
I'm
pixel?
like, wait, this thing's wrong.
Like squares on a pixel?
yeah,
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
yeah, and that's really the difference on my end, but didn't mean to fall back into the
Yeah.
raster
Yeah. No, that's fine.
vector.
No, the vectors are used to make the big wraps. So you said you got a big printer for that.
Yeah, we have since we've moved over here. All right, so
You
2017.
just started in the last year doing wraps, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we've done, when we were over here at David Johnson's place, we started doing vans for like partial wraps, so it'd be, the panels where the windows go and stuff like
Right.
that. We would print those and stick them in there. And we did all of that outside in the weather.
Mm.
And that's tough scheduling because it's Texas. So you would say, oh, it looks like it's supposed to be 80 degrees tomorrow, no wind.
Yep.
And it'd be hurricane. And the customer's there. And he's trying to pull his van out of service to get this thing done. And we're out there just trying to figure it out, But that was in 17. And so one day I just went to David and said, man, hey, listen, because he kept telling me, I don't know if you got here to this point, did you? Oh. So he was like, hey, I want to be a part of it. You just let me know when. Well, it's scary for me because I didn't want to be the guy that said, yeah, leave that
Secure
job.
job.
Yeah.
Your benefits.
Yeah, to come over here and pick me up off my face every other week, So finally, we just went for it. I was like, I'm ready. Well, I think you started the next day.
Yeah,
It was probably an uncomfortable phone call, but
it was like probably 2 days, maybe max. I already said I started packing up my home office,
Right.
loading it in my truck. I ain't told anybody. I was like, this is how it's going to go down.
Right.
Drove to my office and stopped at, I don't know, Hooters or something over in Grapevine where my office was. I had a sandwich and a beer. Called them and said, hey, are you busy? No. I said, I need a meeting with you in 5 minutes. Meet me outside with a cart. And they did.
They're like, oh, all right.
it's one of those meetings.
Yeah.
Third one this week.
It is what it is. But I knew for finally, I'll be 50 years old this year, but finally in my working career, I actually have found my calling.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
And it's taken this long to do it.
Yeah.
And like I said, it ain't just a T-shirt.
Sure.
Yeah.
It is more than that. Not just to me, but to everybody over in that building.
Sure.
Cool.
Sure.
It means something.
Yeah, and a lot of the things we do too, though, as far as printing, people design their stuff at home, and so it does mean something to them too. And so we try to,
Be
try to
cognizant of that.
yeah,
Yeah.
keep it the way it is, or very softly make suggestions on things that would change it to get the quality or the pop a little bit better. But sometimes that works and sometimes it don't. But
Right.
it's not just as far as printing side, his pride, but it comes in prideful, you know, and so we want to maintain that when it goes out the door.
Sure.
It's definitely, it's weird. It's weird to even hear that out loud.
Yeah.
But man, I overed everything that I do, and I know he does, because I'll see him over there walking circles around that press, and just trying to get every angle on it.
Sure.
But as for me, when I see that, dude, it makes me so happy, because I'm like, he's not just the guys trying to get out of here.
Right.
I mean, besides the fact of
There's a big
knowing that
difference
it's my
there.
brother, but that dude, even if I didn't know his name, he's taking that serious, and
Attention to detail.
it shows to the customer.
Which leads into your daughter's here.
Yeah,
And
so
she's been working for you too, huh?
finally graduated high school. Holy
You can
crap.
speak up now.
Yeah.
This is your portion.
Yeah.
Your time to shine. What are you doing? You usually up at the desk, taking
Yeah.
orders, I assume, walk-ins and phones and stuff.
I usually just up at the front. I handle customers that come in the door, and I don't answer the phone all the time. My mom helps with that, but I try to get them most of the time.
Cool.
Customer relations, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And-
and look at the difference. I mean, I don't know why anybody would want to talk to you versus me.
Yeah.
It just makes I mean, you walk in the door, and I'm biased, but
It wouldn't make sense to put
For
your dad
real.
up front.
yeah, you walk in the door, you're already happy.
Yeah.
Right? You walk in the door, see me back there, you're like, oh, God, this guy.
Go get her. Bring her back. Well, so before we wrap up here, y'all talked about music a lot, right? Music's a big
Oh,
deal.
yeah. Yeah, big
what,
deal for
What are y'all
us.
listening to right now? Anything new?
Man, I'm kind of old school. My favorite guy, and Matt was there. You know, he's my singer-songwriting hero, is Max.
Pila song.
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, he's what made me. I mean, I was playing music, and then when I heard his music, it was a life changer for me.
Man, the kind of dueling guitars in that song, he's not too shabby at the guitar either.
Yeah.
Like,
And that lead guitar player, his name's Dale.
That was Dale Clark.
Yeah.
isn't
that's
his
phenomenal.
son now playing for him? Dale's son is now the guitarist for
I don't
Max?
know.
I'm
I
not
haven't heard that.
100% certain, but
Yeah.
I've heard that rumor
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I've heard
Oh,
that.
that's awesome.
Have you guys ever drank on the phone together?
Oh yeah.
Only probably
Yeah.
for
I'm on the
8
phone
years.
with my
called up
brother.
and talked. And
Oh, dude,
Drinking
listen,
on the
hey,
phone with your brother.
Matt, this is no joke. When I was in Chicago, and I always could tell, but man, in the evening time when it was still cold up there, it was a Friday or a Saturday, I'd call him because I knew what he was doing, and I so missed it so bad. And no matter how, because we're brothers, but it didn't matter how big his party was or what was going on. We might spend 30, 45 minutes on the phone, drinking beer
Yeah.
and talking.
nice.
That is legit. That is maybe one of the greatest
Oh,
true
yeah.
to life songs
Yeah.
ever.
I've almost froze to death 2 or 3 times. Just talking on the phone outside because I live in a metal house.
You gotta go outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't, brother. I gotta go in. I'm
Yeah.
starting to
It's a
lose
great
blood
jam
pressure.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. The dude's that guy is a songwriter.
Yeah.
I mean, like no other. You know.
Oh yeah. What else you got? What are you listening to?
Oh, man, I'm still hooked on 70s and 80s country, but like Daniel said, Max is probably my favorite.
Sure.
And then I also like guys like our late great friend Jay Johnson.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh.
And I had the privilege to play with him
Oh, cool.
wow.
for a while. Man, it's just I love Texas country music. Gary P. Nunn,
Oh yeah.
Billy Joe Shaver,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Willie Nelson.
Yeah.
What are you thinking about some of this, like, sort of the second wave of that coming in, like Tyler Childers and you know Sturgill's older stuff, not his newer stuff so much.
Yeah.
But
I think
you know.
Haley knows about the younger stuff,
I'm
right?
coming around.
What are you
because of
listening
Haley.
to?
Tyler Childers, or however you say his last name,
Yeah.
he's really cool, and his songwriting is amazing.
It is.
It is like, it's kind of a different type of music, I guess. But if you really listen to them, then they are really good.
I've heard it described as like neo folk.
And he writes
Yeah.
his own songs.
Oh yeah.
Tyler
Yeah, it's a big
Childers
deal
does-
for us too. We that's the first thing we study is you know, because I think that's where you find it's okay to cover tunes because I do. That's 90% of what I do. But
Right.
to see somebody that's writing album after album of hits, man, and they're doing it themselves, that's a level that's worth clapping for.
Well, it's cool too, because in the Texas country scene, a lot of people write songs for other bands, end up playing them themselves. There's a lot of cross kind of pollination there.
Yep.
Like Chris Knight. He's a songwriter, but also a singer.
Suggestion:
Too, so.
check out Norm Macdonald's got a show with Billy Joe Shaver.
Oh, really?
Norm Macdonald does?
Great
See
episode.
Norm
Yep.
Macdonald, the comedian?
Yeah, he's on Netflix. He's got a show called Norm Macdonald Has a Show,
No
and he
kidding.
interviews
With Billy Joe.
Billy Joe Shaver. He's
kidding.
one of his
Yeah, I gotta
favorite.
see
Like
that.
they're buddies and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a cool interview.
I would never put them
Oh,
two
I know,
together.
right?
It shocked me too, but actually watch all the interviews he does because it's all really unique people and fun listens. But Billy Joe Shaver
Yeah.
is a unique perspective on him.
That's cool.
All right.
We'll see that.
Hey, we about to. I got something for you.
Yeah, what you
Oh.
got? Oh.
Oh,
What'd you
man.
bring in here?
Well, I haven't seen these around. I kind of hid mine with
Yeah?
my sunglasses.
Oh, wow.
Look at
Holy
that.
smokes.
So I brought you some
That's
hats.
some good hiding.
Dude,
That was some good hiding.
And here's a soft.
Dang,
hat.
right on. Sweet.
That is sick.
That is
man.
cool, dude. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
yeah, absolutely. Thanks for
I
having
was
us
just
over.
thinking
Right
the whole
on.
time that like you're facing him, and I was like, I hope you're not looking through his sunglasses.
Didn't
I
even
looked at the
notice that.
sunglasses and didn't think twice. That's crazy. That's awesome.
Dude, that is
They
awesome.
brought us
Thank
some
you
12
very
o'clock
much.
siren hats. Speaking of which, we want to talk to you guys about doing some logos
Yeah.
and stuff, like
We
doing
do.
like making some logos. And we
Yeah.
also talked about doing some scavenger hunts coming
yeah.
up. We've got some exciting news coming out on that at a later date, probably.
At a later date.
But we're going to be doing some cool things with you guys. and
Still
we're
have some folks to talk to.
Yeah, we really appreciate y'all helping out on that.
Oh, yeah,
and-
man. I think it's great what you do for the community, too.
Well, thank you. We're going to
it's
try
really
to
cool.
continue this scavenger thing, and hopefully when all this stuff lifts up and,
Yeah.
people get out and about a little more often, we'll do some more of those giveaways, and we're going to step it up a little bit with you guys,
Yeah.
helping out a lot.
Yep.
The truth is, though, even now the scavenger hunt is going to be good because it's good social distancing. I mean, you don't have to be in a
Right.
group
Yeah.
to do it. You know?
Yeah,
You just
and we
get
might
out.
start introducing it
Yeah,
sooner.
we got some plans.
Weather's coming on.
What do you play? Guitar?
Guitar, yeah.
What dream guitar? Or if you could buy one right now, what would you go out and get?
I have a Taylor 1400
Okay.
that my father-in-law bought me.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
but my guitar I started with was a $130 Takamine,
Oh man.
and I love it.
G
Yeah.
series.
I still play
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. Tacks are good. What about you?
I started as a drummer.
Okay. Worked your way into bass.
Well, no.
Still looking at it.
Then I taught myself guitar,
Okay.
but by no means am I a guitar player.
Sure.
And then naturally, because I was a drummer, I picked up bass and started playing bass
Hayleigh, you play anything?
and bongos.
She sings like an angel.
Uh-oh.
He's lying.
Really?
No, I'm not lying.
Well, you're in luck because we're going to surprise you. You have to sing Strawberry Wine right now.
Oh yeah.
No.
Just kidding.
I held that secret.
You ought to
I
hear
thought you
it.
were serious. I was like, what did you do, Dad?
I tell you, I went to her and asked her, Hayleigh, I want you to do a song for me because her voice is incredible.
Yeah, she's good.
Roseanne
Well, that's
Cash.
good to know.
Roseanne Cash, 7-year 8.
All right.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Well, that's good to know because we've been joking about having a 12 o'clock siren band or something. So we'll keep
yeah,
that in
start
mind.
it up.
Wow. That would be
So,
cool.
Yeah.
We'll write the theme song tonight.
Yeah.
So if we have a little shindig next door, you guys want to play?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Heck yeah.
right.
Have you heard of Kiesel guitars? Kiesel? It's a new kind of boutique electric. That's kind of what I'm into right now. So
Right.
anyway,
Like
never
full
mind.
body, like a full body.
It's
acoustic?
just they're also making like some 7 and 8 string stuff, which I can't even wrap my
What?
mind around that.
Yeah.
Like but oh yeah, we almost
Need
forgot.
some rapid fire 5-question songs.
Yeah,
Is that okay?
Yeah. Hey,
they're just 5 questions. not
before you
songs.
get to that, I there's one guy I got to get to in my story, if you don't
Oh
mind.
yeah. Go ahead.
So David comes on board. Hayleigh graduates. A friend of mine who's also a phenomenal musician, a piano player, now works for us, Kyle Wade Smith. Kyle Wade Smith is like probably one of the most popular guys that if you go to a show, he knows everybody behind the stage.
Right.
Cool.
You know,
Yeah.
and because he's played with them. He goes to Vegas. He plays the Houston rodeo every year, except for this one got canceled. He played the first show, but they canceled after that. But he plays in Vegas. Randy Brown, who flies in their fiddle player from,
Drummer from
for Charlie Pride's band.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
my
this guy's got,
Yeah.
and he's good. He's
Yeah.
really good.
Legit.
But most importantly, he's a phenomenal artist. Like, you bring something to him, he's the guy that you have to take it away from him.
Right.
Because he's not going to stop.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, Kyle, I only need you to spend an hour on this because I can't afford a 7-hour logo,
Right.
And
I-
so,
I think
good.
he's actually so addicted to it that he connected to his work computer from home, even when we told him not to work, and
Right.
he's still
Yeah.
working.
Nice.
yeah,
There's
we're
got to
like,
be some connection between music and what y'all do, because we had a couple of the dudes from Whiskey Myers on, and the bassist for Whiskey Myers worked in a graphic shop prior to joining
Yeah,
the
no
Myers.
kidding, yeah.
He did, didn't he?
Yeah. It's funny you talk about knowing people backstage. When we had those guys on, we knew Tony from around here, and while I was talking to him, I was like, man, he's like a legitimate rock star. I just thought one of my old friends was coming on, but now they're like legitimate rock stars.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
kind of was a weird deal.
That's kind of the way we look at Kyle.
yeah, it's like,
He's hit a success level
Yeah.
that
That we all wish we could.
is
Yeah.
pretty incredible.
Yeah.
used to, you couldn't, like, Kyle would be on the piano. He had the big office for a while we have a player piano in the office. And now you go in there and say, Kyle, will you just play maybe some Billy Joel? He's like, no. I mean, I love him for it because he's like the grumpy guy.
Yeah, no.
We have absolutely categorized him as grumpy and give him a hard time about it. But I mean, the guy is legit. His
get
He
pretty
does good
salty,
work
huh?
on the computer too.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
He did my front store, the perf stick. You put it up there.
Yep.
He did. He's done our kickbacks, the jam skins, which
Yep.
is pretty cool.
Yeah, he's done every one of those jam skins.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
I originally started setting it up, and that's when it was new to
Yeah,
Kyle.
we figured it all out.
And man, the guy is just every day takes over something else, which makes me feel like I'm not needed.
Yeah.
But then I also could go fishing,
Yeah.
He's good.
Sometimes rank has its privileges.
We're gonna rapid fire some questions. We got
All right.
5 questions for y'all,
What
just
weird-
randomly picked.
What weird food combinations do you like, if any? Weird, like I know somebody who eats peanut butter and ketchup sandwiches.
Well, I was gonna
Whoa.
have ketchup, but it's gonna be ketchup and eggs.
I
Yeah,
like
there you
ketchup
go.
and eggs. That's a
That's
weird.
a common one.
It's a common, but it's kind of weird
Yeah.
too.
I
Oh,
like
yeah.
jelly and eggs.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Jelly? Oh, jelly.
Yeah.
I was
Syrup.
like, for
I'm
some
gonna,
reason, I
I'm
went
gonna go back
Jell-O.
to syrup and eggs.
Yeah.
I like
Oh,
the syrup
syrup.
I
mix a
do
little
like
bit.
syrup and eggs, but I do like this, and if you haven't tried it, you should try it. A ham sandwich with mustard. I don't
Okay.
know if you're a mustard
I
guy.
am.
And an oatmeal cookie, the old-fashioned oatmeal cookies. I don't know what it is, but when it
Okay.
hits the palate and the
Yeah.
both of them are working together, it's like, I need
Absolutely.
another sandwich and a
Beautiful.
cookie.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
we'll try that.
Beautiful.
All right.
Never heard that.
I've never
It's
heard
not
that.
the same without mustard, too,
I
so
eat
don't do
Cheeto
that.
sandwiches sometimes. A
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit of Miracle
Or
Whip.
pickles on your sandwiches.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Just a pickle sandwich?
Like
Or a
Like-
tomato sandwich.
turkey, cheese, and pickles.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Yeah. Love that.
we should just try a pickle sandwich.
Done that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. Plenty.
Pepper, pickles, and Miracle Whip. Go ahead.
A little personal here. What was the last thing that you were looking at on your phone's browser? And you don't have to look at it. You can just guess. But what's most likely the last thing?
Oh, would Instagram be the browser?
Browser, the
Oh,
Safari,
browser,
or the
oh,
Google Chrome, or
It
whatever.
would be probably trying to find your logo.
Mm.
Oh, really? Nice. Okay.
Audible.com.
Gotcha.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
That's exactly right. I'm dumb when it comes to that stuff.
Oh, there
I
you
was
go.
trying to figure out how to get.
I was like, how do you get to
how
this?
need to,
the 12
how come I can't get 12 o'clock siren on my
Right.
phone?
Probably Facebook.
Karen said, "Go online and get it."
Yeah.
So I was in there trying to figure out how to get it on there.
Very
So
nice.
Hayleigh?
I think I was looking at a house for sale in
Oh, yeah. See,
Bailey.
that's sad. Don't
Oh.
just write it down.
I did actually
She's trying to
hear
move
you
out.
talking about that.
No.
Question 3?
Oh yeah. Sorry. I'm just sitting
You're
here
up.
having a good
Are we
time.
supposed to draw too?
Nope.
Uh,
Nope.
okay.
We got 5 questions already lined up.
Last time you wore a tie.
Oh,
Never?
man. I did have a job one time as a facility manager to a company was called Heartland Wireless in Plano. I had to wear a tie every day.
Ooh, that's brutal.
Not anymore.
Yeah, and that was, I would say it was 20 years ago.
Cool. That's great.
I'm gonna go with probably my third wedding.
No, all right. Yeah.
All right.
I
It was
wore a tie
actually
at
my
that one.
second one.
There you go.
So it's been a bit.
Nice. And you've never worn a tie. What's
Never
the
worn a
female
tie.
equivalent of a tie?
Skirt suit, pantsuit.
Yeah, pantsuit. You have
Maybe
a
like
pantsuit.
Graduation.
well, graduation I wore a dress. So
Prom maybe. Graduation.
I wore a pantsuit to my uncle's wedding like 2 years ago
There you go.
or a year ago,
That'll work.
and to a beta induction meeting.
There you go.
Final question.
Yep.
All right. This actually comes up quite a lot. What is your first memory of Leonard?
Like the very first memory you have.
Chicken fried steak at Lee's
Okay.
restaurant.
That's a good one. That's a strong one.
I mean, it was like I heard angels singing.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't have a restaurant where I was at, right? You had to go to Wiley.
You know,
Yeah.
Cattleman's over in Blue Ridge apparently get won best chicken fried steak in D Magazine. And I went over there because I was like, man, they obviously
What year?
like they did everything. It was a couple years ago. It wasn't
Really?
very long, yeah. And I went over there and it was good. I was like, they didn't make it out to Leonard though.
Yeah.
Right.
'Cause they
Yeah.
must have not have, you know?
County line.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good chicken fried steak. I haven't had one in forever, but
I prefer the chicken fried steak dinner, not the ones that come on the buffet.
yeah, oh yeah,
They're good,
They're,
but
but they're too small.
they're too
I
small.
ate 6
Yeah.
of those.
Yeah. Yeah, me too.
I graduated in '90,
Okay.
and around '88, I was dating a girl that has some roots from Leonard,
Yeah.
and she always talked about coming and hanging out on the Leonard Square.
Cool.
Boy.
And I was like, all right, let's go.
Did you get into a fight?
You did?
I was scared shitless half the time I could. I'd
Really?
stay in the car, and I was like, I'm out of my element here,
Yeah.
you know?
Bunch of cooter bobs.
Yeah, because around that time, I mean, we didn't always play Leonard in sports, but
Yeah.
around that time we did,
Sure.
and I didn't know, you know, it was kind of scary, but it was really cool experience to see that. And
Right.
I always wished that we could have had something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
We
Yeah.
didn't, though, you know.
See how
Sure.
lucky you are, Leonard folk?
Yeah.
See, this-
We got this big old nice square. We used to party on the square
Yeah.
too.
Oh, I've heard
yeah.
I mean,
stories.
Man.
quote unquote party, but we used to hang out on the
Yeah.
square.
Yeah,
Kids
I've
don't do that
heard
anymore, though.
of
Y'all didn't
many
do that, did
stories.
y'all?
And it was a good
No.
relationship with the police
The
too.
only
We've talked
time-
about that. You know, it was always pretty
You just kind of hung out.
cordial.
Just kept our beer in a cup.
Curfew
Yeah.
now they have a curfew. Got to
Yeah.
got to be in by 10 or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For the
Yeah.
youngins under 18, I guess.
Yep.
I think so.
Wow.
Like for Corona or just in general?
No, I think it's been in
No,
effect
yeah.
for years
Oh, wow.
here. On
It's
the
That
like-
is horse crap.
Yeah.
I want to say that it's
That's what I'm
like
saying.
9 or 10 during the week and
What?
like
Yikes.
11 on the weekends.
Kind of red coat smashing your Liberty stuff is that?
See what's happening?
taking
I don't like it.
freedom
Taking
away.
all of our
It
liberties.
is
away.
Shocking.
we need to write a strongly worded email. You know?
Yeah, fired off.
Well,
That's what
this
that's
is why
that's
they
what good
haven't been-
people do is fire off a nasty
No,
email.
But seriously, we always ask because, like, when we were growing up, we'd back road, we'd do all this. Kids hung out together. Well, no wonder they're not out hanging out. There's a curfew.
There's a curfew. Yeah, we've
Right.
wondered it for years. Apparently, it's been a curfew.
Now, I'm upset with Leonard now.
I think
That's
it's what
awful.
sped up the process of the smartphone because the kids figured out a way to still get together. So, you know, it's like
Well, yeah,
the oppressed.
man, man, I'm
They've
upset
been
now.
liberated with a cell phone.
Yeah, I didn't know there was a curfew. Not that I'm under 18.
Kevin said McKinney has one too.
I'm going to actually. I don't know. I got to talk to somebody. this is upsetting to me.
I wonder
Yeah.
what it
If
would
there
be
was a law,
like
I'd be against it.
if they lifted the curfew. Would there be any eye contact on the square?
No, it's a
They were
bunch
just
of
all looking down.
Oh
at the
yeah, well
grass.
that's a good point. Just stay home.
yeah, just
Stay home, you kids.
Yeah, hell,
Just-
they
yeah.
could turn the lights off in the
They'd
square.
be like, we
and the
really need
phones
some.
would light
We
it up.
really
Yeah.
need some community Wi-Fi in the square
Oh, yeah.
because I've only got one bar.
Yeah.
I should have 3.
Yeah, I'm going home.
I'm going home where I can get
going
good
home.
Wi-Fi.
My stomach hurts.
Well, guys, I appreciate y'all coming in. Really,
Yes, thank you very much.
good time.
That's
thank you guys,
Knucklehead
man.
Graphics on Facebook at Knucklehead FX, I believe is the @, and then on Instagram, Knucklehead Graphics, GRAPHICS. 202 South Main Street, Leonard, Texas is where you can find them. Big old red building there in the square. You're doing wraps. You're doing details too.
Yes,
car
we do,
details.
and it's the weather's getting right. So,
Yeah. If you want to clean your car up, bring it in. They'll take care of it.
It's top notch too.
Might be time to wrap that F-250 of mine.
That's what I'm
Wrap
talking
it like
about.
it's muddy.
Well,
Yeah.
when I first walked up here and saw it, I was like, we need to detail it
Yeah.
And
and
then
then put a sticker on it.
It definitely needs to be
we got
detailed.
a bunch of hot pink over there.
All
We're
right,
gonna
good
get
to
rid of.
know. All right, folks.
We appreciate y'all coming in. Daniel, David, Hayleigh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
we will see you around, and we'll get back to everybody more on that scavenger hunt with you guys.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right, y'all have a good
Thanks,
night.
guys.